Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, guys, lots of activity going on all around the world, and we're going to start in Rome. And huge amounts of hail. Can you make out just the picture right here? I mean, this is the top of a vehicle buried in hail. Wow, that's incredible. Tremendously intense storms brought heavy rain, strong winds, and tennis ball size hail to Rome. And so this happened yesterday. The city was brought to a standstill, forcing some of their drivers in the city's eastern part to actually just abandon their cars and go and run and hide from the storm as massive chunks of hail started falling from the sky. And 4th century Basilica of San Sebastiano Fuori le Mura was flooded up to 1.5 feet of water. Similar events took place in Florence and Pisa. And just look at this. Look at this winter wonderland, October 22nd in Rome. Tremendous accumulations. There's a video here, and you can actually see the water just cascading like a waterfall down this escalator. And there's another couple videos as well. Tremendous storms over here. Some more photos from Italy and more videos as well. That's got to be very unpleasant, being waist deep in hail and slush. And so, tremendously insane, intense weather. Look at that. They look like icebergs floating down the street. So thus we have what's happening over in Rome. We have historic rain accumulations across Malaga, result in severe flash floods in Spain. And Spain has been getting hammered for quite a while now. It's been like a week. They've been getting pounded. And we have one person killed, a 47-year-old fireman, after the fire engine he was driving overturned and ended up in a swollen river. 2 of his colleagues managed to escape, but the driver was swept away by strong currents. And we have seen so many people get swept away in these flash floods. This year it's been just amazing and intense. And you could see this cascade, this huge rushing river in this video. And I'll have all the links for you guys as well. And some people are adjusting pretty well, as this guy is kayaking down Main Street in Malaga. So yeah, I mean, we talked about this back in March, and it's a good investment. A kayak, a canoe, a lifeboat, rowboat, some sort of boat. I was watching a Netflix movie the other night, and it was really a very B-rated film, but it was talking about all the earth changes. And it was actually hysterical, but yet at the same time, it was fairly factual, and it was really enjoyable. I forget what the name of it was. I think it was called Ocean Rising. And it was... almost felt tongue-in-cheek, but it was like all of us talking about all of this. And of course you have the USGS and NOAA and NASA, and they all 3 of them have their heads up their butts as the world is just basically falling apart around them, and they're just still interested in downgrading things and underreporting things. It was actually a pretty entertaining video, albeit it was definitely a B-rated flick. So we have Rome, Italy, we have Spain getting hammered over here, and over around the corner in Australia, we have severe thunderstorms, large hail, heavy rainfall, pounding Australia as well. They registered over 300,000 lightning strikes. Just amazing storm power that we're seeing. And, of course, heavy, intense flooding. And you can see here, there's a video here for you to run as well. It's showing you some of the lightning, some of the flooding. Australia getting hammered. What a cloud. Look at these. These shelf clouds are just amazing, what we're seeing everywhere on a regular basis. They're intense. Very surrealistic. And when I was seeing them down in Florida, pretty damn freaky, honestly. Definitely intense and wild. So Australia, we add to the list. And then we have Trinidad and Tobago, and there is a national disaster declared there. We were talking about the floodings the last couple of days. Unfortunately, it hasn't gotten any better. And so there is basically a national disaster declared there as well. It's been like a week of solid floods going on there as well. Same sort of situation as Spain. And there's no let up going on, and it's a national disaster. Flooding is widespread, very severe. It's going to cost a ton of money and time and effort to clean things up when they are able to. And so UK, get ready for some snow. There's a blocking high developing that's going to bring some heavy snow to the UK. And this is from Electroverse. And of course, it'll say, welcome to the grand solar minimum. So research shows blocking persistence increases when solar activity is low, causing weather patterns to become locked in place at high and intermediate latitudes for prolonged periods of time. And that's what we have seen. And that is the new normal that we are finding. And so, this is part of what is going on all around us right now. And we didn't see it with Hurricane Michael. He just came in and pounded, but we sure did with Florence. And again, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe this is natural. They think that there's definitely a man-made component to it. And I think it's very, very questionable. And we have Queensland battered by a barrage of hail, damaging winds as well. Golf ball size hail as we see it. And everybody in Texas, have yourself prepared, because you've been getting pounded with a lot of rain, historic flooding. It's been pretty much nonstop. Austin residents ordered to boil water now following historic flooding. It's just been incredible. And the mega hurricane that is off the coast of Mexico right now, Willa, is going to be pounding Texas with a lot more rain and flooding. So it's not over for Texas by a long haul. And actually, be prepared, because things are probably going to get a little bit worse. And so, right now we have Austin being told to boil your water. And I would also say for everybody in southern Texas, coastal Texas, be prepared, as well as everybody basically on the Gulf Coast. And speaking of Willa, so right now, Category 4, it's exactly the strength pretty much of Michael when Michael landfalled. 155 mile an hour winds. It will be heading in and should be impacting Mexico tomorrow. So it was basically fluctuating between a Category 5 and a Category 4. And as we know, the winds from Michael just destroyed everything in its path. It was just like we showed a picture of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it looked kind of similar. It was not good, intense and a very, very powerful storm. And this one is basically Michael's twin. So it's going to be very powerful as well. And then we'll have to watch it as it moves inland. Hopefully it doesn't stall out. And it doesn't look like it's going to stall out. So that is the good news. And you see the projected path. It's going to just shoot on through here. And then it'll make its way over to southern Texas and kind of hug the coast. And it's definitely something that is going to leave devastation in its trail. And let's pray for all these people as well. And so, my friends, this is something, if you don't have portable water filters, get some. They're actually pretty inexpensive. And you just never know. It could end up saving your life at some time. It's a good idea, get a couple of these, just throw them in the closet, stash them away. This right here is from the Prepared and gets into some of the best ones for the money. And, you just don't know when you're going to need something like this. And it's a good idea to have them instead of be sorry later. And so here are some of the recommendations. This was their top pick right here. And this is the Hydro Blue Versa Inline Filter Kit. And so, 24 bucks, that's not bad, for something that could save your life. So I would, definitely get a couple of those and just tuck them away. You look at some of these other ones here. This other one, Hydro Blue Go Flow Gravity Kit, is $40. And there's other ones as well that they go through. So you could go ahead and do a little research for yourself. And, I wouldn't slack on it. Be prepared. You're better off being prepared and being safe. And so we've talked about this before, and it is so important to keep ourselves in the right frame of mind with things. And so many people get caught up in a negative mindset, not talking about negative doom and gloom, but negative as in, this isn't possible, that isn't possible. Well, somebody else maybe achieved all those things, but I couldn't possibly do it. It's so important to have a positive mindset and to recognize when we're programming ourselves negatively. And this is from Waking Times, and I've read articles by this author before. And he says, for a long time we've been taught that evolution is a process that is happening to us. And some people get very offended by the word evolution, but things do evolve. Do you think everything stays static? No, things don't stay static. Has the world stayed static? Are we still riding around on horses or buggies? Are we? Well, we might have to when we get hit by an EMP, just saying. But still, everything progresses, everything evolves. Evolution is a fact, and that doesn't mean that we necessarily came from monkeys. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how things evolve. And so it gets into the fact that our bodies are constantly changing in response to the environment around us. Our muscle changes according to whether we choose to use them or not. That's adaptation and evolution right there, If you work out hard, your muscles are going to get stronger. You're going to be storing more glucose in your muscles. Your muscles are going to get bigger from that, and your whole composition is going to change. And everything does evolve. Everything changes. Everything is energy, and energy is always it's flowing. And so energy can't be destroyed. It can only change forms. So going back to our bodies, the enzymes in our digestive system change in response to the foods we choose to eat. Our endocrine system is in a constant feedback loop with our emotions, which can change dramatically according to what's happening in the world around us. So again, our emotions, the way we react to things, literally manifest physical changes in the body. As Dr. Bruce Lipton put it, the cell is a carbon-based computer chip that reads the environment. And the field of epigenetics teaches us that our DNA changes in quality according to the environment, according to stimuli. And so when science talks about environmental influence, it seems to imply all that is outside of ourselves. It's very easy to overlook the fact that our conscious choices about which environmental factors we engage with are part of what shapes the way our body restructures. We are part of an environment that influences our own development. Our free will lets us choose and change the environment. We participate in our own evolution during our lifetime, and what we do in our lives can also affect future generations. And as I had quoted that study that we just got a little while ago, and they're showing that it can affect 14 generations out. So what you are doing now and the way you live now can affect your ancestors 14 full generations out. So in this way, personal evolution is a collective evolution. And nowhere is personal evolution more apparent than how we are capable of rewiring our brain. And this is Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is awesome. I've read many of his books. Your perception of any given thing at any given moment can influence the brain chemistry, which in turn affects the environment where your cells reside and controls their fate. So how reprogramming the mind is helpful to us. Humans work really well with routines. We repeat the same pattern over and over again. Through neuroplasticity, our brain rewires itself, so it doesn't have to think about too much any one task anymore. It just runs that established electrical pathway. It's basically like, muscle memory, that type of thing. Like why LeBron James, can do what he does so well. He's practiced, he's ingrained it. He can visualize it. Same thing as Michael Jordan before him. It's about seeing it first and then knowing, and then it becomes second nature. So, it's just like when we learn to drive a car. We move from unconscious incompetence, like I don't know how bad at this I'm going to be, to conscious competence. I know how bad I'm going to be at this. To conscious competence. Okay, I could do this, but I have to keep my mind on the job. To unconscious competence. I can wind the window down, change the radio, turn a corner, and change gears all at the same time without even thinking of it. It's that way with any sort of skill. If you're shooting a gun on a firing range for the first time, you're going to be worried about kickback. You're going to be, there's so many things that you might not take into consideration: distance, windage, velocity, speed, things like that. And then, an expert can just know all these things and hit the bullseye almost every single time. No matter what it is, what skill, it's just a matter of reprogramming ourselves. So there is power in repetition. And that's how we reprogram ourselves. And that way we don't have to waste energy engaging isolated focus on every task. The question is whether these routines that we are choosing for ourselves or that have been imposed on us, and then how beneficial are they? So, this is the power of affirmations and mantras. And, those are wonderful ways to reprogram yourself. Meditation is a wonderful way of reprogramming yourself. And I hear it time and time again from Evolutionary Energy Arts family, especially people that have been programmed to think that, meditation is evil and to be avoided at all costs. The same thing with yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. Just brought up basically with a lack of knowledge about the subjects, which leads to a fear and unbiased, unbounded fear for the unknown, really. But really, it's all simply about reprogramming ourselves and putting attention and focus to it. And when we reprogram ourselves, then we are starting to really engage in our own personal evolution through choice. And so much of the time we are getting bombarded with this external stimuli, a lot of which is basically it's done in order to turn us into more consuming consumers, or buying certain things. There's so much of the time we're getting blasted by all these different messages all over the place. The Democrats talking out about the Republicans talking about the Democrats, and all that all the time. We can choose to step away from negative programming and to program ourselves in a positive way. And we could create a personal mantra and just do it basically by writing down, the things that you would truly love to see change in your life. What if you could go back and say, and change certain things, what would you change? And then write a positive statement as if that change has already happened. And so it has to be done that way. So when you program yourself, don't say something like, in the future I'm going to be strong, or, I would love to be able to, whatever it is, save $10,000 for a down payment on a house, or you have to word it in different ways, as if you've already done it. So it's better to word it as if you're giving thanks for something that's already happened. And I've shared with you guys before, when I hit my lows, I had been lifting like crazy. I was powerlifting with some buddies. And at one time I was like 70 pounds heavier than I am now. And I blew out 2 discs from squatting 500 pounds. And then shortly thereafter, when those got better, I ended up catching Lyme's disease because I was hiking out in the woods and caught Lyme's disease. And one of my dogs got it as well, and he didn't survive. And he was a very big, strong, healthy 5-year-old pit bull. And the co-infection actually ended up killing him. But I felt so horrible just overnight, and felt like I went from being like in my 30s to feeling like I was 80 years old overnight. And really, one of the things that I did besides my meditation, my Qigong, and herbs and changing my diet and getting acupuncture done as well, was I came up with an affirmation, and it was something that I ran through my head, and I said it like a mantra, time and time again, over and over, every day, multiple times, reprogramming myself to basically one of abundant health. That every day I'm actually getting stronger and healthier and wiser, and I'm thankful for that. And because of all that, then I also made the promise that I would, at some point, I was going to go ahead and share with others what I had learned. So it was kind of like a, promise with the universe. I'm thanking you now for the healing that I know I'm going to receive, and in return, I'm going to tell others how to do it themselves. And so that's part of why I've done this channel as well. It's basically fulfilling a promise that I made when I was extremely sick and thought I wouldn't live to be 50. So, I'm just sharing with you guys what worked for me and what I've seen work for many, many other people. So we can completely reprogram ourselves. And I've seen people that were completely, just unable to function in a normal manner. And they've gotten better, and better to the point where they're better now than they were years ago. I had one woman with, very, very bad knees, and she was in her early 70s, and the doctor wanted to do a double knee replacement, and she didn't. And just basically through energy work and massage and getting an exercise program, a mild one, back together, and learning Qigong, she not only avoided that, but she said she felt like she did back in her 50s. She felt like she had taken 20 years off. So it can happen at any age. It really can. We are very, very adaptable, and we can evolve. So my friends, as always, please thumbs up to support the channel. Go ahead and subscribe, click the bell, join our growing family, and share with as many people as possible. May you guys always be blessed in this time, with an abundance of peace, love, happiness, and well-being, and always kept safe. God bless, my friends, and namaste.